Hi everybody, and welcome once again. Today I'll talk about, like promised, I was promising for the last video that I recorded for the whole game of Fire Emblem Brain Down. No matter if it was done correctly or, well, badly. To be honest, I believe that I did many mistakes because, well, like I mentioned, sadly I don't have the time to script these videos. So I mostly focus just on recording my thoughts on the fly, and hopefully, well, everything comes out correctly. At least I know that I'm saying what I truly feel. I'm not scripting anything. I'm not saying that people who script their videos say lies, but I always like more when people speak to the microphone, just speaking out of their minds and pretty much saying what they feel on the fly. But that's just me, I believe that many more people, including myself from time to time, appreciate more the scripted approach to a video. So if you appreciate it more that way, I do apologize. Well, I'll try to make my best for this video. Actually, I was going to apologize for the bump noises in the microphone. Did not knew that the vibration and the reception of the microphone was going to be that bad. But yeah, other than today's video, I would for sure mention that I'm going to try to be more concise and trying to bring here from my computer some notes that I would like to share with you regarding this video, of course. After all, I believe that once and for all, I like to speak my mind before I forget about this thoughts that I had in my mind regarding this beautiful character, in my opinion. Like I mentioned in that last video for Fire Emblem Brain Down, Micaiah. I do truly believe that she is the best female Fire Emblem character, at least in my opinion. Everybody has their likings towards the characters, and there's always that factor of being biased towards a character because they were the very first character that you experienced. But overall, I believe that when I speak right now about Micaiah and her not being a bad character at all, or Mary Sue for that matter, I do truly speak from a analytical point of view, not really from a biased one. Like I said, I'm a bit biased because, well, let's be honest, we all are a bit biased when it comes to characters. Even if it's just a little bit, like it's sometimes impossible. You can be biased about numbers because, well, I can be biased about 1 + 1 being 3 because it's totally stupid, like 1 + 1 is 2, no matter how biased you are or how unbiased you are, it's always going to be the same result, if you get my drift. So yeah, first off, Micaiah, of course, I believe that she is overall a very intriguing character, but well, she has throughout the story of Fire Emblem Brain Down, which of course is going to have a lot of spoilers, I'm gonna tell you already. A very, you could say, character that has a lot of stuff going towards her that actually helps her throughout her journey. At the end of the day, it makes a lot of sense for that to happen in her story, in her game story, because, well, as I just said, that's the game that is actually developed towards her as she's the main character. So it would make a lot of sense for many story elements and stuff that happens in the story to lean towards her and help her boost her as a character and help her being developed in the story. Micaiah overall, I believe that she has this arc. She starts in the aim, with the Down Brigade, having her friends helping her, heading towards the salvation and liberation of her country from the tyranny of Begnion. I believe that overall, at least, her essence as a character doesn't change too much, but she's nowhere near a redundant character, like at the end of the day, her sense of protecting what is most important for her, it's very genuine, and at the same time, she commits a lot of mistakes because, she's not perfect, especially taking into account part 3 of the story, where she fights where she fights with Begnion against the Laguz Alliance, pretty much Crimea and the whole continent of the whole countries for Laguz, Phoenix, Kilbis, and Gallia, which are the cats, the lions, and the tigers. So yeah, first things first. Of course, when Micaiah starts in the Ain with the Down Brigade, liberating the Ain from Begnion, she's a bit, you could say, fragile, because when she starts and she has this a change of heart, especially when she encounters Peleas in the desert. It seems like she just does it because the story needs her to do it. But if you also take in account that the translation that we got here in the Americas, the game that came here, was the simple version, there's text that is missing, or some expressions that are missing from the characters throughout the whole script for the game. So that indicates a lot, and that it's giving us a lot of hints that we could be missing a lot of development and enhancement that possibly was missing, like I said, throughout translation, from the simple to the developed translation, or I don't know which is the name of the second type of translation that they could have used when they brought the game here. But overall, I know that there's a lot missing there. But even if you acknowledge that we have that missing, at the end of the day, when Micaiah is there and she's been told by Peleas if she wants to join the cause and fight for the aim, you know that the first time that she's asked, I believe by, I don't know if it was by Isuka or Toronil, pretty positive it's Isuka, that character which is guiding Peleas, where he found Peleas, and he's acting like a sort of mentor for Peleas to help him get back to the Ain and get his supposed rightful king status, quote unquote, because, if you know the whole story, you know that someone else is actually the real king, or the real prince that should be king of Dane. And that's another character, so I'm not going to talk about him that much, but just to put on that point, like Peleas is not actually the real king of Dane. He just happens to be the orphan, which was found by the daughter of Baincia and, Almera, the wife of Ashnard. But just to continue on that point, she was told by Isuka, if I'm not mistaken, if she wanted to join. If she wanted to join, or that if she could join the fight, but at the end of the day, it was by Izuka, you know. He was the one who asked her, and she refused. Also, in part because South joined her in that statement. You know, he pretty much spoke for her. He said, "No, it's ridiculous. We're not going to join this war of yours." But at the end of the day, well, she was leaning towards South, and she was not going to support Peleas, and well, pretty much the aim to reconquer that of Bagnion's opposition and get back the aim from their clutches. Once Peleas talked and interfered, he didn't talk to her like the way Izuka did. And the fact that the king, the prince of the country, was the one who said, "We need your help, Micaiah. Could you lend us your hand?" And the way that he said it really brings out in her the patriotism that she has for Dane. It really makes her feel like, okay, maybe this nobody tried to make me join the cause, and the way that he said it was not the right one. And also South is here supporting that same feel that I have. Therefore, well, she didn't feel enticed to say, okay, I'll join. But once Peleas said so, and also he says please in a very, you could say, educated way and nice way, she accepts because, well, she has a duty to protect her country, or at least that's what she feels. She feels that she is meant to protect with her powers her people. And that's pretty much to a T the core that Micaiah is. And Micaiah is constructed from there. The fact that she loves her people, she loves her country, the aim, and she's willing to give it all to protect them and to, well, fight for them. And as you can see, that's very well extended throughout part 1 and part 3, you know. In part 1, once she comes back and saves that people which were in the plot, I believe there was a swamp, that chapter where you get joined by Nyla and Raisin. And well, there's prisoners stuck in swamps and you need to save them from Bagnon soldiers. Once she comes back from that fight, she gets praised by the people, by the soldiers of the Ain, and how she looks back at them and salutes them, and it really makes you feel that sense of love and responsibility that she feels that she has towards the Ain, like I said once again. Moving from that, I have here a little quote from Micaiah that everybody uses to attack her, or I mean not everybody, but I've seen people attack her and hate on her because of this. So she says, once they're back on base, once Nyla and Raphael joins them, she says, right, Lord Ike, hero, it's quote unquote, of the Crimean liberation, leader of Grail mercenaries, and father of Saul's children. In this case, well, for starters, she doesn't know Ike that much, but she's playing around because she knows how much South likes Ike and how much he talks about him. So at the end of the day, she's not having this comment coming out of her like a depreciation or an offensive comment towards Ike, because I know there's many people out there who love Ike, me included. He's my favorite male character from the franchise. I have them both typed, you know. Like I said, I have both Micaiah and Ike typed. I can make one up about them. I just like them both pretty much equally. One day I could like Micaiah more, and another day I could like Ike more. So that's the reason why I cannot put one above the other. But well, that's besides the point. Um, in this case, that quote that I said there, I believe that she, it's pretty obvious, but I know that there's many people who have this fanboyism for Ike. So pretty much every comment that sounds a bit, like I said, disrespectful towards him from another character, in this case Micaiah, they take it as an offense, and well, because she's the new character, and like I said, many of these people appreciate Ike a lot to a fanboy stake. They can get up their face that mask, that cover from their eyes, and see what word this truly is, which is just more than anything, uh, like a joke, but not towards Ike, but South, because South is, like I said, always praising Ike. So Micaiah takes this chance to have a little fun, and make that comment. At the end of the day, like I mentioned, she doesn't really know Ike, because as much as we know, she has been told about his story and his achievements by South pretty much all the time, and that's how she remembers Ike. Like she says, Lord Ike, hero of Crimean liberation. That was exactly what he did in the last game. He liberated Crimea from the Ain, leader of the Grail mercenaries. That's a company that South was in, along with Ike. And that last bit, in father of South's children, that pretty much is to point you to the fact that South, as much as he praises Ike all the time, Micaiah takes a chance to make this little joke comment, because, well, South always being saying, yeah, Lord Ike is so good, Lord Ike is the most powerful, oh, how much I respect Lord Ike. Pretty obvious, but still, there's people out there who get blinded by their fanboyism. And yeah, could be a joke. No, I know this is for a fact a joke, but the way that these people act, could be joke, could be trolling, but I don't know, man. I feel like there's people out there who genuinely hate Micaiah just because this comment, that's just so stupid, honestly. But yeah, that's just that point. But in reality, going back to, not really going back to, I'm pretty much done with part one, to be honest. She goes out there. She is helped by the Black Knight, which to a great degree, like I said, he is one of those characters who come out of nowhere. Like they say, oh, Micaiah gets helped by the Black Knight, of course, the most powerful knight of Dane. And that's the reason pretty much why she gets helped by him, because she's there to help the Ain, to liberate them from Begnion. And Selgius, the Black Knight, he is loyal to the Ain. So it's natural for both of them, as patriotic characters, to unite and fight while being with each other, covering their backs to help liberate the Ain from Begnion. And that's the reason why he helps Micaiah and is always there as her Black Knight in shining armor, literally. In this case, well, it's, the saying, it's knight in shining armor, but it's way more fitting to say the Black Knight in shining armor, because, of the obvious. But yeah, Micaiah and the Black Knight have this bond because they both want to protect the Ain. And there's other very important thing that I believe that you know, especially if you have played written down and you have researched the story. Micaiah and Celsius, the Black Knight, both are connected a lot because they are unique in the same way. What I mean by that is that they are both branded. They are both descendants from a breed between a Bjork and a Lagus. From the looks of things, I'm not sure if Celsius was between a tiger and a Bjork or a lion and a Bjork, but I'm pretty positive, based on the power that Micaiah has, the powers to sacrifice, that she was she born from the bonding between a Bjork and a heron. It's the one that makes the most sense, She can use light magic. I mean, that part I'm pretty positive that it's not necessarily a thing. Because, Senator Baltome, he can use light magic too. And I believe he's not in any way, shape, or form branded. He just is a mage who has learned how to use white magic. Valara. That's the tone that brings you, that poisons you once it hits you. But yeah, going back on that topic, the power of sacrifice, that power, the way it works, the way it heals the person you sacrifice on. And not only that, but also gets rid of negative statuses. You know that the herons have a Galdar, which does the same. And pretty much her, jello, honey eyes, those are actually very similar to the herons too. So in this case, like I mentioned, that bond that they have, the Black Knight, Celsius, has a lot of connection with her because of that, and she wants to protect her because of that, because he knows that she is just like him, a branded. Both are born once again from a bonding between a Lagus and a Bjork. Because all of those factors, like I mentioned, the patriotism, the love that they have for the aim, and the fact that they are both branded, makes a lot of sense for him to have this connection with her and to want to protect her. Because he knows that, she's the hope for his country too, and that she represents a lot for the future of the aim as a whole. So it makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense. I don't see that as a convenience or as a Mary Sue trait. I just see that as a natural thing to happen, taking into account that they have all of those things in common. Okay, now for part 3. Why Micaiah would fight for Begnion now that she is freed from them. Why would she fight for Begnion against the Lagus in Crimea? Well, it comes down a lot to the other stuff we already talked about. Her loyalty for the Ain and her loyalty for her king. And at the end of the day, once we get to the final chapters of part 3, where she comes in contact with the truth onto why Peleas is fighting for Begnion against the Lagus Alliance, that's also very important, At that point, they pretty much have no choice but to continue the fight and, prevent anything bad to happen to the people of the Ain. Like I said, everything makes sense in her character, And she has this very emotional part in part 3 where pretty much South is captured by Tibarn. He's about to be killed by them. And she begs and begs for him to not be killed. You really feel her desperation. And at the end of the day, because the Lagus are not like the Beknian army, and they actually do, respect their adversaries for who they are. And I believe Tibarn knew so, but more or less, I believe that had nothing to do with the fact that they let him live. But at the end of the day, Micaiah is very fragile in that moment, and as you can see, the desperation that she has. She's not like this, I'll just outlive this and put on the banner and put a face where she doesn't care and that she's going to withstand it. I mean, she's crying, she's begging for Saul's life. She has given up. And well, she went down, and she was going to use those dirty tactics at the end of the day against the Crimean army and the Lagus alliance, because they were outnumbered, and those were war tactics. At the end of the day, yes, they could feel like a bit out of her character, her merciful part, but at the end of the day, they were in war. They were not meant to, show weakness, especially when the senator of Beknion, Lacane, was having their watch upon them. If they saw that they were, playing around or fooling them, they were going to enact that blood contract and kill a lot of people in the intakes to it. So they had to play their part and make themselves look as if they were really, really fierce into that fight. And just like I said, in part 3, you can find these factors where, she could seem like she's out of character, but she maintains always her main trait, which is her loyalty for her people and her king, country. Everything that she does is always to protect them. The only moment where she breaks her face from that and where she starts begging is for South. And that's natural because, her and South have a very special bond. They've been together a very long time. She pretty much raised South from he was little, and now that he has grown and they're both fighting, they were pretty much starting to fight this whole country of Beknion, and they united with the Down Brigade, Leonardo, Edward, Nolan, and later, they got visited by more people. More than visited, they got joined by more people. Laura and Aaron, and then Jill and Sychart and Tauronil joined their fight, but they were more like loyal towards Pelea. So I don't know if they really do count towards that count of people who joined the Down Brigade. But at the end of the day, she always has as her priority defending her country, more than anything, protecting South from danger. So, in part 3, she continues to do that. She continues to fight for her country, protect South, and pretty much be loyal towards the aim. As we go towards the fourth part of the story, or the final part, where she is revealed to be the Empress of Beknion, the real one, that was, branded as she was murdered. I mean, she was being she was killed by the Herons, if I'm not mistaken, which is all a lie. The ones who tried to kill her or remove her from Beknion were actually the senators. They were the ones who tried to take control of the country, and pretty much at the end of the day, they were scheming to get rid of Sephron and Micaiah and Sanaki, get control of Vecna. And pretty much, I believe they wanted to conquer the whole of Telius, get rid of the Lagus entirely. And that, it's very evil. So yeah, Micaiah, after part 3, where, like I said, once again, she maintains the fight, she maintains her loyalties. Towards the end of the game, she opens up more. I mean, she is now more in contact with Ike and the girl mercenaries. So when June is not taking her body to talk to her, she feels a bit shallow, to be honest. She doesn't have that much of interactions with the other people. But at the end of the day, she still has enough for you to know that she's open to connect with more people, and especially in the position that they were, where they were learning from each other how to be more connected, how to be more united, and how to overall have the harmony that they were looking for at the end of the game. That the main objective of them were to learn from each other and stop fighting, because at the end of the day, the Lagus and the Bjork always being in conflict was the cause for the goddesses to awaken both June and Asherah. So Micaiah right at the end, and as you can see in the picture here, which is in and of itself a spoiler, becomes the queen of the end, Soth marries her, as they were supposed, of course, to one day more than likely do, because they are bonded by their long story together and the love they have for each other. And I believe that Micaiah, at the end of the game, has a bond with Ike after learning from him who he really was, and she respects him, although he disappears from the story. And after the end of the game, where they defeat the final boss, Asherah, Ike goes on a story, and I'm going to talk about later, because I have a very, very different opinion than most people regarding Ike, orientation. I'm going to talk about it to spread hate. I'm not going to talk about it to show my biased point of view regarding that. But I just don't like it when people try to exercise something upon a character that they don't really know. And most of the time they just try to do it as a mask, or as a masquerade, or as a propaganda to support their views in life. But I'll leave that to the side. I'm not going to get into that rabbit hole. It's going to be a whole another conversation. Now, when it comes to Micaiah as a whole, and resuming the whole that she is, she's a very delicate character, which starts with doubts, not knowing what really to do. I mean, she always knew that she wanted to protect her country, but as a commander of the forces of the AIM, when she got convinced by Peleus, like I said, she does it because, well, the king of her country is the one who's telling her, and on top of that, he's being very polite about it, very respectful, and benevolent when she asks her, please help me liberate the AIM from Vecna. So it makes a lot of sense. Like I said, for starters, she's already a patriotic character. She loves her people, she loves her country. So you could say that it is the cherry on top of the beautiful cake, the fact that the king of her own country asks her in such a good way. So that change of heart that she had right there makes a lot of sense because of that. Comments that she said to South, uh, pretty much in front of South towards Nyla and Raphael about like make a lot of sense because she's having fun about it. She's having a ball and she's being just sarcastic regarding South, uh, South's relationship towards Ike, the way that he admires him so much. And well, pretty much the whole story, like I said, shows her fragility towards protecting South and her country, and her allegiance and loyalty towards her country, and all the elements in the story and her background connect very well with the character and goes to show that she's a beautiful character, very loyal, very pure, very beautiful design. As you can see, her honey eyes, that silver hair. She's just beautiful, in my opinion. Overall, her character and her aesthetics, her personality, and that's the very reason why I love her so much, because she really reminds me of a person who, although can have weaknesses and have problems and always be in a distress. I mean, not always be in distress, but when they're in distress, they can always show this fragility. They are always going to be loyal towards that of their people, In this case, it's her protecting her people, her country, the aim. But you can apply it to pretty much a mother, She has this motherly figure, that she's always going to go through hoops and ups and downs to protect her children. You can pretty much do that analogy, The aim is the children, and Micaiah is the mother of the children. So it's very warm, a very warm character, a very motherly figure. That's why I respect her a lot, love her a lot, because, well, who's not loving her mother, You love your mother, I love my mother, everybody loves their mother. Most of the time, of course, we're talking about here, but what you generally expect to be the case. There's some very evil women out there who have not taken care of their children. They even tried sometimes to kill them. So of course, those mothers are not going to be loved. Or who knows, maybe down the line there will be. If there's a talk between her children and her, or her child, and maybe there can be a love in their stages. Who knows? But that's pretty much it. I believe that Micaiah deserves a lot of respect as a character, and I believe that she is a beautiful character. Like I said, overall, she may have some issues, so especially because of the writing, and because we didn't get to see her interact too much with other people because of an issue of the game, which is the support conversations, which I give that more towards being an issue of the actual game more than an issue with her character. I believe that she would have been splendid if she had the chance to have support conversations with characters from Begnian, Dain, Crimea, the Lagoose, especially later when she got to join them in the fight against Asher. But yes, Micaiah, beautiful character, I love her. I hope that you can understand her better after this conversation, with this analysis that I did about her. If you don't, well, that's you, like I said. For characters that you may like, you may as well like very different character traits, and you may as well have played another Fire Emblem game, or you may have never played Bright and Down before, and you're just watching this video because of curiosity. In any case, you're very welcome. And that's it. Thank you everybody for watching. Please have a great day, and I'll see you in the next conversation. Goodbye, people.